Well, good afternoon, Parkway family, and welcome back to the Weekly Word. And by the way, happy Thanksgiving, a day in advance. I hope you're blessed and getting ready to enjoy some time with family tomorrow. Speaking of Thanksgiving, Paul said in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, 16, 17, and 18, "Be joyful always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus." The Apostle Paul didn't say to give thanks for all circumstances, but to give thanks in all circumstances. All our circumstances in life are not good, but there will always be something in those circumstances for which to give thanks. As a child, one of my favorite characters was Robinson Crusoe. I hope he was for you too. When Robinson Crusoe was shipwrecked on a lonely island, he thought of both the good and the bad. He was cast into a desolate island, but he was still alive. He wasn't drowned with the rest of the ship's company. He was divided from mankind, but he was not starving. He had no clothes, but it was a hot climate where he needed no clothes. He was without means of defense, but he saw no wild animals to be worried about. He had nothing to speak of, but God had sent the ship so near to the shore that he could get out of it all things that were necessary for his survival. So he concluded that there was not any condition in the world so miserable, but that there was something positive for which to be thankful. "Oh, but Pastor Chris, you don't know about my circumstances. You don't know where I'm at and what I'm going through." Well, let me ask you to think about this for just a moment. If you go with me to the Old Testament, and if we look for the word thanksgiving, the very last place you will find in the Old Testament the word thanksgiving is used in one of the minor prophets. And so I'm going to read that word and I will give you that verse, and then I want you to tell me a little bit about it. You see, the last listing might surprise you and it might convict you. I'll read the verse and then I'll help you set the context. It says this: "But I, with a song of thanksgiving, will sacrifice to you. What I have vowed I will make good. Salvation comes from the Lord." Well, you might think that's David. You might think that we're one of the other prophets. But let me read the next verse in context, and then you'll understand where I'm coming from. The very next verse says, "And the Lord commanded the fish, and it vomited Jonah onto dry land." So again, in context, "But I, with a song of thanksgiving, will sacrifice to you. What I have vowed, I will make good. Salvation comes from the Lord. And the Lord commanded the fish, and it vomited Jonah onto dry land." What about his circumstances? Where was he at? And his heart was giving thanks. Again, Paul said, "Be joyful always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus." That word thanksgiving in the original language is tudah. Tudah. It is an extension of the hand. Thank you. It is also an expression. Specifically, it can also mean adoration. It can have the picture of a choir lifting their voices in thanksgiving to the Lord. So it is an idea of confession. It is a sacrifice of praise. It is thanks offering. It is thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, Parkway. Let your heart focus on the goodness of our God and let Him put the circumstances in their right context for you. God bless. Happy Thanksgiving.